You care. It's important to
Yeah.
it's important to express what you care about. Keep going.
Okay, perfect. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the interface that I was talking about, right? The debug smart contract, like it's giving you a full interface to debug your smart contract. Now we're going to start with the what do you call it? The smart contract that we're going to write for the counter application, right?
Okay.
So let me just erase this immediately. And can you tell me what does what all functions does a counter do? We've had this conversation before.
I know. I'm going to run back. Counter.
What can a counter do?
Um,
What all functions you would need when you are building a counter?
it can get the next number.
Correct. So you would need an increase counter, right?
Increase.
Yeah. If it starts at 0.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm on my wrong page. So if let's say it starts at 0, right? What would you need to do? You would need to increase the counter. Now for it to be 0, there is also one more function that you need. Tell me what that can be.
For it to be at 0.
Yes. That's initializing the value to 0, right? Okay. And then this has to like increase. This counter should increase, right? And then increase value basically. Now to increase value, it has to also read the value, right? Like how would you, if when you are calling increase, how would you know what the value is to get the next number, right? So it has to read this value. So we are also going to read the value, and then we are going to increase the value. Now if we can increase the value, we can also decrease the value, right? So increase / decrease value is going to be the same. And the next one would be, now let's say I do not want this counter to start at 0. I want it to start somewhere else. That means I would want to set the value, right? I'm not talking about initializing value. Initial value of any counter is 0, right? But let's say I want it to start from 100, or I want to start it from somewhere else, or maybe just simply I want to take the counter back to 0. How would that happen? It's called set the value or reset the value, right?
Right. You define it.
Yeah, or reset value. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is how you usually write a smart contract, where we are first understanding what all do we want our smart contract to do, right? What like if this is a counter application, then we would want it to initialize its value, read its value, increase and decrease. We're imagining all scenarios with this. What do we want this contract to be able to do, right? Okay. Now, next up is going to be, firstly, you need a smart contract for this, right? So how are you going to get started? Firstly, let me show you. Currently, our repository looks like this, right? Does your repository also look like this?
Find out. I haven't looked at this. Okay. My repository is.
Yeah, this is the Xcounter app that we built.
Yeah.
So this is how it's going to look like, right? And we are running this in our terminal. Where is it? Okay. We're running this in our terminal.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because we need to start building a smart contract, what do we do first? By starting to think about its interface, right? How is it going to look like?
Right.
So I'm just going to erase this, but this is what we are going to be doing today, okay?
Which is basically the summary there is to set the value, initialize, and then increase the value.
Initialize, read, and then do different operations on the value, right? And you can have multiple values, doing multiple functions, but that's how you get started, like the basic. You have a value, and how do you want that value to change, right? Now this value can be anything, but we're currently taking the example of a counter, okay? So next up would be, now you start by thinking of now we already started about thinking about the interface and the operations that, the methods that goes into this, right? So the first thing that we do is we define a trait, okay? Now, if I don't think this has been done properly. So the first thing that we would do is we would define a trait. Now, when I said you are starting to think of the interface of the smart contract, right? So there is a way to make a trait into an interface, right? And how do you do that? You basically above the before declaring the trait, you write hashtag Starknet ::interface. So this basically tells you how that the following trait is the interface of the smart contract that we are going to build. Okay, right? Now next step would be giving this trait a name, which would be like, let's say, iCounter, right? The reason I am calling it iCounter is just to let you know that it is the interface of the counter. Okay, that's just naming convention how that works. Okay, interface of the counter, right? You don't have to rename anything as, like, you don't have to name everything as let's say voting app or whatever you are building, right? You just it's just naming convention how developers do it. The I represents interface. You can have any name for your trait. Okay. Now, once that is done, we're going to say T, which is for the trait, right? And then we're going to start defining. Now, everything that is in this is going to be the interface of the smart contract, right? The next up could be, now we're going to use basically. Okay. Now, next up, the first function that we need to define. And if you, just to give you a quick recap, how does interfaces, how does traits work? You basically do trait, implementation, action. Sorry, trait, action and implementation, right? Trait, action and implementation, right? So, when you are defining the trait, you need to define the functions that you are going to call, right? The first function is the read value function, right? Because I will show you how we talked about initializing the value, but I am going to show you.
The first function is set the value to 0, then read.
Yes, the initialize the value, right?
Yeah.
Now you can initialize the value directly when you call the smart contract.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you that. The next value would be what? Read the value, right? What has been initialized.
Right.
Okay. So yes, exactly. So we are going to first call function get counter. Okay. What is the value of the counter? Now, your first question would be, and I'm going to write it down so that then I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
U32 semicolon. Okay. Now, this get counter is just the name of the function, like we have already talked about. This self, it has to always be self. This is like a keyword that is being used for who is working, who we are working on top of, right? So it's the self contract that we are working on top of.
I see.
That's what. Okay. The at, can you recall what the at was?
Yeah, it's the trait.
What?
No, what's the at is? Isn't that how you reference the file that you're?
It's not reference, it's snapshot. How you snapshot the file, right? When you want to read, so snapshot was for reading and reference was for reading and writing.
Okay.
Right? And at is for snapshot. Okay?
Okay.
And then obviously this function returns a value, which is the value of the counter. That's why U32. I will come again. You can finish your writing, then I will come.
Okay, self is self contract. Yeah, is this contract. Yeah, okay, keep going.
Okay, now this U32 is because it's going to return the value of the counter, right? Which is going to be a number. That's why returning U32. At was snapshot, self was we're working on the smart contract.
U32 is a path? Like what is U32?
No, it's saying returns U32. Returns and then the type of value it is going to return.
Okay, so why is that called U32?
U32 are like the integer types, unsigned integers, signed integers. Yes, we did. I-32, U-32, felt 252, right?
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. That's why do not give gaps between sessions. But very important lesson for me. Do not give enough gaps.
It takes some time.
It takes some time.
It's a refresher, right? Okay.
Yes.
So
Now, what does the T stand for? Now, the T is same as this T, which is the trait of the contract. It's basically a generic one because the type is going to be defined during the compilation, right?
Okay.
The reason that we're using T, right? Because self and then this colon means we're defining the type of self. So we are going to say it's a snapshot of the trait, of the original trait, and that trait, the type will be defined later on into the when we are doing the compilation, right?
Okay.
And why is it a snapshot? Because we are only reading the value of the function. You getting my point?
Done with you?
Yes. Okay. Now, what happens next? Now this is where our trait I counter stays. Okay. We're going to define more functions where like increase, decrease, everything is going to be listed here. But for a trait, we have to also define an action, right? So now we're going to move on to, just for this reading part, let's move on to the action. Okay, let's define the actual smart contract itself, right? And now the actual smart contract is defined as a module. Okay, so any smart contract is defined as a module, and then that module is going to like have a name, obviously. So let's say it's going to be counter contract. Okay. And that stopped working. So it's going to be counter contract, and then it's going to have basically a bracket. Now, because I said this is not just a general module, but a module that holds the actual smart contract, right? Actual definition of the smart contract. I said, so again, coming back, this is not a general module, this is the smart contract, right? So how do we differentiate between other modules and a module that is a smart contract? You basically write here, if you can see, Starknet, like again, hashtag Starknet, colon, and then contract, literally. Yeah. Okay? And then the next would be, now once you write the once you define the module, which is a contract, the first thing that you need to define is, since this is a smart contract, where is it storing? Like where is the storage? Right? So inside this module, you will again use hashtag storage. Okay? This now, and the next line that's going to come in is where the storage is going to be. So we are going to define a struct to store, we are going to define the variable where the smart contract is storing, right? It's going to be struct storage, open it up, and then we're going to give the name of the variable as counter and say U32. Okay? And then we close this, right? That's it. We're closing the struct here. Okay?
Okay.
Right? You get my point?
Yeah.
Now we can actually do it
You're
here.
defining the terms, right? So you
We will actually do it here
contract.
so that we can run and see how it works.
Okay, can I go back one second? So you're saying that it's trait, action, implementation.
Yes.
First step is here now. You're defining the interface to define the trait in the first place.
Yes.
Got
The
that.
interface is going to the trait is the interface of the smart contract. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I kind of a bit rusty on the U32, but let's say it's defining
It's
integer.
an integer, unsigned
variable,
integer,
unsigned
literally.
integer. Got it. That's
Yes.
Okay. So now your next part is the actual contract. That's the implementation. Now this is the action. This is the action right now.
Yes.
The contract, right? And in that now the first thing is where's the contract stored?
Yes.
What makes up the terms of it?
Yes.
And then now I presume your next step is like you're going to now take that define, read that variable, and then increase.
Yes.
Right?
No, increase no. Just read the variable.
Just read
for
the
now.
variable.
Right. Exactly. Now, when you defined the storage, now because you defined the interface, but it's not yet accessible inside the smart contract, right?
Yeah.
Because if you remember, we used something called as use super, like I will show you. It was use super colon. Now when we did star, it would bring everything from outside into the module, right? But because like to be specific of what we are trying to bring into the module, we are going to be, what we are going to do, we are going to literally just say bring I counter. Because developers don't like, I would, as much as I love to use like star in my like pet projects and stuff, I would never use star in like in production level projects, because then I don't know what all values it is getting scope of, right? So I will specifically define the values that I need it to pull. Okay, you are getting my point. Use super colon star will give you the access to read everything that's outside this module.
Okay.
Right? So you should be very specific with the things that you want to read that are outside this module, right? So now I only want to read I counter. So that's why we're going to read, after storage, that's when we're going to add this line, after the next line of this. Okay? And because this is a trait, it also needs an implementation.
So that says what's the thing?
Use super colon I counter. So that is giving me the access to read the interface from the contract. Right? And we're going to like, I'm just going to quickly go into my smart contracts here. Where is that? Oh, this. SM Foundry, contract, source, lib.cairo,
So I think
Yes.
are there good like videos, resources online that you would recommend? As I'm going through a building, there's no way I'm going to be able to replicate all this without
Yes.
like lots of repetition and replication.
Yes.
What are the resources I can look to?
The best resource is the YouTube channel of Starknet Foundation.
I see.
That's how I picked up Starknet altogether.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it not only from smart contract decoding, it shows you like, they also do like these weekly live workshops that you can join, where they are building, like they up the level a bit. Now we're building a counter app. Next time they'll build like maybe a to-do app, and then maybe something else, and then something else. And all of these Basecamp videos are listed in their playlists as well. So you can even, and because these are live, right, these turn into a playlist, and then that gets accommodated to the Starknet. Like they have their own, they also run their own Basecamp virtually. So you can even join those virtual sessions. There's even videos present of these Basecamps happening, right? You can even, I think there's Basecamps in almost a couple of languages as well, different languages with different tutors and stuff. So you can go and check that out as well if you are not comfortable in a particular language and you wanna like listen to this in a different language.
Okay.
Right?
I see Bitcoin, Ethereum. I see.
Exactly. Everything.
This is what you did. You watched through this.
Yes. I was part of the Basecamp 13, and then from there I took it on.
Oh shit.
Okay. So that is there. Now, definitely, in fact, they have individual workshop videos also where I'm telling you, right? Instead like of a counter app, they're trying to build something better and then better. They even have like a founder Basecamp going on that you can join in, where they're talking about, okay, if you want to become a founder on Starknet, how do you proceed, what all you need to, and everything like that. Anything and everything like that. Now, next up, what do we have here is, I'm going to just unplug this. And plug in my phone. Yes, I'm going to plug in my phone. Okay, perfect. Now that is there. Okay, next up, like I said, every trait needs to have an implementation, right? And we haven't done the implementation but I was going to show you here. If you can see this simple your contract, right, which you also have in your this thing.
Yeah.
They started with an interface, okay, and then they started with the contract. The pub means public, is a public contract that you are able to use. Now, if you see, this is I'm going to explain to you what these are, but this is the storage part where I said, right, use Starknet storage, and it is, wait, where is that one? So, like use super : I your contract, the interface of your contract, right? Now, let's just change all of this to what we are doing to make it the counter contract, right? I would love to delete this file, but I'm just going to.
Yeah, why don't you just keep all the structure and just change the file?
No,
Okay.
no. That's
a bad practice too, huh?
Yeah, it's better to create.
Okay.
So I'm just going to keep this like this only so that we can later compare how our looks like, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to create a counter.cairo. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to do mod counter. Okay. So that I am importing it in my lib.cairo, which is my main file. Remember? Okay. Now counter Cairo is, we start with the interface, like I said, Starknet. Sorry, 1 minute. Starknet interface. Okay. And then we define our interface as like a trait. Okay. And when
Counter.
I counter.
Colon. No.
Yeah. I counter, and then the T, right? And then we do.
Trait.
Yeah, we open it up, and now we're gonna do function get underscore counter bracket self colon at T, I think. Yep, and then this returns U32, which is an integer. Okay, if you can see, 1 minute. Let me just close this. Okay, much better? Yeah. Now I am leaving this trait here and then moving on to Starknet : right, and defining the contract. Okay. I will write, and I'm going to share the file with you.
No, I'm just really nice.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to write mod counter contract, right? Contract. And then I'm going to open this up. The first thing that we're defining is what is happening here. Yeah, exactly. See it now. The beautiful part about AIM is that it's telling you like this is also where each contract must have a storage, right? So we're defining the storage, and then we're going to say we don't need a crazy storage, we just need a struct called storage, and then we're opening this up and saying counter : U32 semicolon. Right.
Got it. Yeah.
And then there is, wait, I think it's SQR.
So this is the action.
Yes.
And the implementation will be the numbers going up.
Wait a minute, I think I missed a...
32i.
No. I think it was a... Oh yeah, it cannot, it's not semicolon, it's a comma. Yeah, second. These things. Yeah. Okay, and this is the storage that we defined. Now we're gonna say use super and colon bring the value of I counter into here, right? So semicolon. Why did it say import contracts? Okay, it's just saying that, okay, since it's not a red line and a yellow line, it just means that this is a warning saying that I haven't used what I have defined, right? So now, next up, what are we going to do? And I think I will...
Now is the implementation.
Yes!
Yeah, right.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Because the trait is the interface, then the implementation is going to be the ABI of the smart contract.
API.
ABI.
Which is?
ABI, not API. ABI is the application binary interface.
Okay.
So what does an ABI mean? Like if you come from a Solidity background, right? The ABI of the smart contract is nothing but like it's a JSON format for it's the JSON format of the smart contract. It's basically a JSON file that defines the contract functions, events, data types. It's the bridge between off-chain applications and on-chain EVM.
Bridge,
Yeah. So how would you connect your front end to the smart contract? This way. Okay. So now the implementation is going to be the ABI of the smart contract. How are we going to do the implementation? Are you done here? Okay. Now how would you do the implementation? It's going to, again, we have to be very specific about defining, right? So to make this implementation, the ABI, it's going to be ABI bracket BED underscore V0. We didn't do this before. Okay?
Oh, thank you. No, this is Leo.
Leo. Okay?
This is me.
Right, we have to be like this. Okay? Next. Now our usual IMPL counter, IMPL and of I counter. And yes, this is the implementation, right? And now the T that we talked about in the interface, right, is going to be defined here where it is contract state. It's going to be contract.
We won't be hosting Pula
Yeah.
Contract state, okay? And wait a minute, I think it is contract state. Contract
We couldn't
state.
reach an
Yep.
agreement.
Okay. Now this contract state is going to be this is always going to be the type of any contract, right? Because we are going, this contract state is a variable that gets that where you get the value when this program runs. It's like a runtime implementation thing. So that is why whenever you are defining a smart contract, no matter what the smart contract is, the implementation will always have contract state as its type. I'm talking about the type of the trait, right? The trait is always going to be contract state. Okay? Now, this is our, obviously, just the heading. Now we open it up and now we're going to do the implementation. What was the implementation that we're going to do? Can you tell me what implementation we have to do?
Number goes up.
Yeah, the function. Wait, we're not in increase yet. We're just still reading the value of the function, right?
Yeah, but I thought it was our, okay. Sorry.
No. Okay, so that's the difference that I wanted to show you. See, this one is the definition, right? Sorry, this one is just the declaration.
Declaration.
Yes, this is just the declaration of the function that exists in the trait. That exists in the interface, right? Now, in the implementation, what happens? This declaration is defined. Like, what does this function contain? So, its function get counter. Here is where we are going to say now what is happening, right? Now, the self, and we said self colon at T, right? Now, what is T? Contract state.
Yeah.
Contract state. And then we open this up and say self.counter.read. That's it. Now when I say read, it's going to give me an error. What do you mean by read? Right, because there is no function that we have defined that's called read. But Starknet has defined a function for read. Okay, and all we need to do is say use. This is very funny. Like it's very dramatic. I know.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
You actually, because you have to explain.
I have to ask the question, then answer the question myself, right? So I will have to say, Starknet has to. What Starknet has defined? What are we reading? We are basically reading this variable from storage, right? So we are going to. This is the thing that we need. We need to read it from storage, and then we say colon bracket. Now this is like a like it's a library package, whatever we are recording, right? Yeah. These two traits are like their default traits that has already been defined by Starknet, where you can see storage pointer read access and storage pointer write access. Right, this is for reading, this is for writing. I am going to implement both so that we don't have to come back here. Why am I doing storage write? Can you tell me? Because later on we have to write to the counter also, right? Okay, that's why it is showing me yellow, because I am not using it right now.
Yeah.
Now storage pointer read access automatically gives us this function to use in the smart contract, which is dot read.
Sure.
You get it?
Yeah, kind of. Keep it.
That's it. That's literally it. We have defined a function that reads the value. Now, who is setting the? My question. We started reading the value, but where is the value being set? I remember I said I will show you where we need to initialize the value, right? So right now nobody is setting the value, which becomes an issue. And because by default every property is initialized by using the number 0, right? But to make it explicit, let's actually. So how do I say this?
I'm sorry? I eat, sorry? Chips. Sure. Well, yeah, lots of snacks here. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Anyways, so like I said,
Yeah.
now the problem that so the reason that our smart contract usually works is whenever we are declaring a value, right? It's by default initialized at 0. But let's say we wanted to initialize at a different value other than 0. So how do we explicitly tell the smart contract that the starting value is not 0? We define a constructor. Okay. Okay. And now how do I tell you what a constructor is?
These are just the way you define, you talk to this contract, is the way the
Yes.
terms of the contract, right? It's just,
Yes.
that's not, it's somewhat is common sense, somewhat is not. I would imagine you would just start by declaring and then define, start at 0, but it has to stand
So
on its
here.
own.
I will show you. So
Yeah.
it's called function constructor, and then you bracket it. Now this is now we are using the keyword ref because we're going to be changing its value, right? And we're defining a value. So it's going to be self contract state.
Contract. Missing an R.
Yeah, I will just use it. Okay. Contract state, comma, init underscore value, which has to be U32. Okay. And then we're going to open up this function. Wait. Open up this function, press enter, self dot counter dot write init underscore value. Right. And this init underscore value is nothing but your initial value that we are talking about, that we are writing through this constructor. Now since this is the constructor of the smart contract, and I'm going to get to that. Okay, let's actually deploy this so we can play with it in the UI part, right? Let me open this up. Okay, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to clear it so we are able to see. And then I am going to, another thing that I'm going to do is, I am going to go to the scripts, ts, go into deploy.ts, and here remember we have a deploy contract function, right? Now, if you want to deploy this contract, how are we going to deploy this contract? We are already deploying your contract, but right now we do not need to deploy your contract, right? Because our contract name is counter.
Self. Oh, yeah.
Counter, yes.
What? Yeah, I thought we did. Okay. So why is it not self? When you said you defined self earlier, that's I guess just to start, but it's ultimately the case. Contract is called counter.
No, this is deploy.ts. You know, in the smart contract we are doing functions on the smart contract, right? Now you have a smart contract written. How do you deploy it to the application, right? Locally or on production. That is when you come and you change it here. It's going to be counter contract. Counter contract. And it's not the name of the file, but the name of the contract that we have defined, like mod, the name of the module, right? Okay. And then see here, it says constructor arguments. So our constructor arguments are not an owner, but counter. And here is where we say, here is where we say 0. This is where the initial value is. Now I can start this at 5 also. Nobody cares. Because by default it was 0. Right? But if I wanted to explicitly say it's going to be 0, I can say it's 0. Or if I want to explicitly define a completely different value for the contract, then it can be a completely different value.
As long as it's a U32.
As long as it's a U32. Finally you are getting it. Very good.
Takes me a few attempts. Learning is slow, yeah.
Yes, perfect. So now I do again, I'm just doing clear so that this comes up. Okay, and now we're gonna do yarn. We've done everything, and now we're going to close this. Wait a minute. I'm actually trying to
73,000 BTC, sorry, right now. My God. Talk about the fire sale.
What?
BTC just hit 73,000.
Yeah, it's down 6% or thereabouts.
ETH is going to hit 2,000 soon.
That's buying opportunity.
I know, man.
Yeah, because it's definitely gonna go back up. There's no doubt in that.
I don't know about that, right?
No financial advice.
That's
Financial
my
advice.
problem, right? When people say that, the back of my brain says, I don't know about that. Then instead of buying, you know.
Oh, well. But Michael Saylor is going to be in some hot water soon at this price tag, at this level, right?
Oh, he's buying.
I know he's buying, but I don't know what the hell he's doing. But it's the stress limit, because he's definitely pushing the parameters of his model, right? Because he was buying at 140, 150. Anyway, sorry. Just saying, I don't understand this stuff well enough.
Like you said.
Alwyn was saying, it's hard to understand. You have to really be in it and be in it for a long time. Watch it closely. You're best to keep an open mind and learn from others. But
Perfect. That's what I wanted to do. So that I don't have to keep looking back. Okay? Just a second. We're here, right?
it's like a fast-moving golf ball. You know, if you take your eye off it for a second, it's already moved 300 feet.
Okay, perfect. Now I am going to close this, Control Z, okay, and clear this up, clear, and then we're going to restart our terminal, and Yanchi, open up another terminal. And then do yarn deploy. Oh, okay, I didn't do yarn compile, sorry. Yarn compile. But yarn deploy is literally yarn compile and what is the issue? Could not compile contracts due to previous error. Counter impl get counter return time for implementation function. The return type of it's missing. Oh. Firstly, it's missing a semicolon here, which is again, syntax error. Then the name counter state is defined multiple times. Okay, where is counter state defined? No. Sorry, function. I don't think that should be an issue, right? I'm still going to say constructor. I forgot to say it's good. Now I'm going to do yarn deploy again. There is one more error which is what do you mean? It's storage. Okay, let me just delete this. The storage shouldn't be one. Okay, this is the problem. Perfect. Let's run this. Yep, successfully compiled. We're getting the hash, estimated, set up, everything. Okay, now we're going to yarn run. Before that, let me just close our beaver contract so that the yarn run. Yarn run, yarn start. I keep forgetting. where we are going to go local host 3000. And then you click on debug contracts. See? Why is this happening? On-chain Starknet. It's the same. It's the same. I'm going to open chat. Because we already, like, if I click reload, I think there has to be like a UI thing where it is not getting properly connected, because when I click on reload I can see the get counter method, I can see everything, but then it's like again no contract found by the name Stark on-chain Starknet and so why is that happening is my first question, right? And it's telling you restarted your yarn chain.
You went to an all-girls high school as well, right?
All girls university as well.
Ah, okay. So then there was no culture shock for you when you learned. But his daughter, in the sense that you went to all-girl high school, and then you go to a mixed university, and suddenly you go from 100%
No,
to less than.
the culture shock was when I came here and like for my masters, right? And I'm seeing 50, like close to 55 students in the class and only 6 girls, which is a very big
And
shock.
were they all the 6 girls were ethnic? Were they? Are there any?
So there was
All from India, China, and Russia.
wait, there was 4 Indians, 1 Egyptian. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's 5 girls, not
So
even
less,
6.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
9%.
even less. Yeah,
9%.
because I can literally name them.
Yeah.
2 Divyas, 1.
Mm.
Yes. Oh no, yeah, there were 5 girls and there were 6 girls. 5 were Indian and 1 was Egyptian. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
That was a 1-year master's you did, or 2-year?
1 year.
Okay.
And then in the AI program, over 106 students, right? 100 plus students.
AI program was where? What is it?
At George Brown
Brown.
only, yes.
Yeah.
So 106 students and I think only 10 or 15 girls. That's it.
I'm not asking to pry, I'm just curious. What was the cost of that program, the AI program, or the master's program you did?
Both of, like each of them individually was 20K for
20K?
international student.
For
Yeah.
international. And for
Yeah.
locally? If you're
Locally, it's okay. It's like
if it's Canadian?
Yeah, if you are Canadian, it's I would think it's
25.
7K for 6K or 7K for like the AI one and 4K for the blockchain one.
Okay, so it hasn't moved much for Canadian. Okay, but the international, they're really.
Yeah, there's really yeah.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, that's the thing.
And would you recommend that class?
Not the AI one. Why am I saying always call it?
So Sorry. You're entitled to your opinion. I mean, that's you're being informed.
Yeah.
I'm asking the question because you into and above what you can learn on YouTube and learn from
Yes,
here. That's the
yes,
issue, right? It's
yes.
the opportunity cost of
Yes.
going and sitting there. People don't really like.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just going to, I think I have to change the Yantian output somewhere. But I just want to show this to you on the interface so that then you would understand like how this is going on, right? One, they needed Yanchi. Next, they need the one. This debugging is going to take a minute.
What flavors do you get?
Look at him.
Sour cream and onion?
Yes! No, it's not sour cream.
No, it's dill pickle. These guys.
Oh!
Taste and preference.
We should ask
No, I didn't.
No, it's not like that, but like,
But you know, ketchup chips are only available in Canada.
Really?
What?
You don't get ketchup chips anywhere else.
They got them in the US.
No, maybe that's changed recently because you're right. You can change the preference, but not for a very, very long time. The unique. What in the examples of what makes Canada unique was always ketchup chips and poutine,
Oh, okay.
which is the most dangerous.
why
thing.
you don't get poutines in the US?
Apparently, it's a French-Canadian thing. And this taste and preference Canadian. No, but I mean that could have changed now, huh? Italy. I mean, it's not exactly a bleeding edge innovation. You just all you need is it's like literally it's a simple taste and preference.
Bitcoin just went down.
Oh yeah, we just talked about that.
I think this is the lowest it's been since like 2020, like 3-year low, right? Probably now. 73. It's below. It hasn't been dipped below 780 even during deep seek time last year. Deep seek time it hit like 82.
Go to 6.
You think it's going to go to 60 this rather? Yeah.
It's going to go to 60?
And then the U.S.
No
government's going to
financial
scoop up
advice
and
again.
then announce the Bitcoin reserve, right? They're going to buy it.
So I'll tell you the reason why it was very bad. You know this very clear demarcation I made between white and black? There was no white earlier. I'll tell you when white started. When Gensler started accepting SEC and we started accepting Bitcoin, when we created ETFs,
Yes, yeah.
and Trump pushed it up,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin started moving in tandem with stocks.
I started to?
Move in tandem with stocks,
Yeah,
gold
yeah.
and silver.
Yeah.
And when people like Sailor started buying it,
Yeah.
and people started using it for a reserve,
Yeah.
all of the white component that kicked in
Yeah.
took off of Bitcoin that
Yeah.
existed prior,
Can you
which
come
was
here for
black, and there was 4-year cycles, which are no longer happening, etc.
Yeah, it's still happening, just less pronounced.
So from 60 to 125 is all of that white shit going down the drain.
Why is it going in the drain? Sorry, I still
Because
don't know.
white shit, I'm not saying white
Yeah.
people,
But
was a mistake. That should never
guys,
have happened.
He doesn't mean like. He was saying the exact. It's not racist.
I didn't mean people, I said it. That
I just
white
ended that
component
one.
of Bitcoin